Mm, copy. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. This one. Bed. Publish. And publish. And okay. What's that noise? Ooh, hey. I forgot to set up the camera. And there's no memory card. Let's see, how do I get rid of that? Like that. There's all kinds of problems. Um, all right. So hopefully you can hear me. I think you can. Um, I am in the middle. Why is that getting dark all of a sudden? What's the deal with that? There. Nope. That's not really any better. Better? Question mark. Okay, so I've been setting up um this whole streaming thing. I'm trying to show my workspace and all that stuff. And it's all about promoting my own artwork. Um which I found out that I actually have to be more serious about it. I'm on the right track. I'm not doing this just for fun. It's actually very important so that galleries can see the work I do. But the problem is, I'm so busy working on the bloody blogs and the website. I'm doing very little actual artwork, so I need to do that. But I'm also working on my house as well. So today is a good day because it's raining outside. I can't really work on my roof. Um, one of the projects that I'm working on is see, I have this painting that I did, a little girl, and in front of this candle, or behind this candle, and there's a bunch of these, like a lot of people went through the process. It's like an experiential artwork. So, and they wrote down their experience. So what I want to do is create like a video where you can see what they wrote and how it moved them um in a good way. So I'm working on that, and I'm going to try to put that on my website somehow as like it's its own thing, separate from a painting, because this is a painting, but it's more experiential art. I'm not supposed to be doing this. You're not supposed to be doing a bunch of different art. You're supposed to like stick to one thing. When learning about my art career, that's what you're supposed to do anyways. But I'm like experimenting in different things. So that painting is very special to me. And I created this overhead look of my studio, and so this is a painting I'm working on right now. It's egg tempera. But I should be working on it like more seriously. I just want to do a traditional type of painting, actually. But I thought, hey, this is a good sneak peek into my workspace. You know what I mean? Oops. So I thought I'd show you that, you know. And like I said, it was raining out today. It took me a long time because like the camera that I'm using, um, it makes this high pitched sound for some reason. I don't know exactly why. So I've been editing it out, and it took a while. Um, I just want to see. Oh, you know what? I forgot. It doesn't. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday today. It's weird. Okay. I gotta go back to my website. Um, all right. See, I gotta go back to my website because I need to have mm, an a picture. See if I edit the post. Okay. Yeah. This is kind of what I was thinking. And then I'll do a screenshot. Upload a file. Sorry, got to do all this stuff. Doink. Oops. There. I should have did it before I actually published, but oh well. What are you gonna do? All right. So what I should be doing? I should be like at least cleaning up in here. So that I can get organized. I need a bookshelf. I need to make a bookshelf. I don't have one. I don't know where to put my books. I definitely want to read this. Did I even show my introduction on this video? I don't think I did. I worked so hard making that intro, and I didn't even show it. Oh well. All right. The one other thing that I could use is more coffee. I'm gonna throw this away. Throw that away. Hmm. Is it looking any more organized yet? So I have this the grinder for my coffee. It's not my birthday today, but Apparently, I'm getting some happy birthdays. It's nice. It ain't yet. What's going on? Let's see. Happy birthday, Gary. I hope you have a great and inspiring day today. And I wish you many more. Oh, cool. Thank you. It's not my birthday. Thank you. It's not my birthday. That's funny. So, all right, clean up a little bit, and then I could, because on my website, um, like I have the whole. You can see me grinding out the right. I'm grinding out my pigments. I work with, but and then I have some paintings there. Oops. And if you want to have a more intimate look about who I am, I guess you can go to the blog, and which is what you're doing. Hmm. I have this massive canvas that I made. I need to find some room in here to put it in. Thinking about maybe in that corner, but it's like 6 feet tall. It's not. I don't have a large space. Okay. This thing is massive. You know, you can only see a little bit of it right there. If I put it perhaps here in the corner. Whoops. Sorry about that. So, oh, and I'll show you. So, uh, part of the part of the making of my own canvas, I use calcium carbonate. I have, because it's such a big canvas, I got 4 of them, 4 packages, or a pound each. And you gotta make like rawhide glue. So I'll clean it up, and then I'll put layer after layer after layer of rawhide glue on it. And the other thing I don't know about my website is, like, if I make new content on my blog, does it like get rid of the old stuff? Let's see. If I edit the site, all right, and the pages I want to go to is blog. Okay. Blog posts. Group. It's going to show me a preview, I think. Because I don't want it to, I want it to save, um, not the latest post. I want it to show everything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it won't, though. Select parent, the group, drag, options. There's a stack, the grid, paid content, columns, cover, details. Oh, there's different styles. Cover. And if I make this larger, will it show more stuff? How large can I make this? What does this button do? I don't know. I keep tweaking my website. I'm doing more tweaking of my website than actual artwork. Ah, you cats. See them? I gotta get rid of the insulation at the top right there. I need more wood up there. I got so much work you gotta do. And you can't do any of it unless you have coffee, unfortunately. Come on. There. Oh my. It's still full. Mm, it just started grinding. You know what? I could set it on a lower so that it's not so fine grind and it'll go faster, but it won't be fine grind. All right. So now what? Oh yeah, I was going to do this thing. Um I don't know if I should do it, but I was gonna do it. Go to the website um of the gallery. Check out the artists that they have there. Okay, doing some recognizance. Is that what you call it? All right. I go and I look at the artists, all right, that they have there. Then what I do, copy the name of the artist because sometimes they're hard to pronounce. I can't copy. I go look at their website. Okay. And I go see how far off the mark am I. I don't want to copy them, but if I'm going to be pitching my artwork to a gallery, I need to know that I fit their style. Why would I go and approach a gallery that I don't fit and they wouldn't want me anyways, right? But then I want okay, cuz so they have I'm not going to tell you who the artist is. But okay, so they have like recent work selection like so they have like recent works that they have. Okay? I don't know if they're clickable. They don't look like they're clickable. Not on. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, there's some YouTube video behind the scenes. So what I'm doing is not. It's not that far off. Like I thought. I was thinking like, oh, why are you spending so much time doing this blog, doing so much effort into this? But then there are the artists that are doing the same thing. And I thought I was just going totally out of left field and you know because I heard well first I started doing it, all right, putting my stuff online and I was getting a lot of positive feedback on it, and then the more research I started doing into what I was doing to like justify what I was doing, um, they said that it's good to have that intimate. It's intimate one way though, like you get to see me, but I don't know anything about you. Even if you're watching this, I don't even know if you're watching this, but it's there. It'll be on my website if you're curious. Anyways, One of these days, I will afford a grinder. But this makes excellent. Oh, it works very well. It's just very slow. Ah, I keep doing that and dropping all the beans. So I have this canvas here. I have this canvas here that I got to get ready, and I have that canvas behind me that I'm painting presently. I have an idea. I have this idea. Okay. You want to hear it? You want to hear my idea? I don't know if I applied for a grant for it, so I don't know if I'll get it. But the idea is that I want to integrate a film, an art film, with a two-dimensional art piece. And the way that I would do that was through a QR code. I would paint a QR code. And so you scan it, and now you get like, it would be like a primitive art, but using technology, you know? That idea of mixing the two together. Oh, it's going to take forever. This is interesting. Okay, they got their own blogs too and everything. That's okay. Me, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be like up to date though. Not this one artist. It's really hard to do both. Paint like like I'm saying. What the hell, man? Why is everyone wishing me a happy birthday? Cool. Well, I don't know. Hey, that coffee's not going to grind itself, Gary. That overhead camera is going to die soon because the battery's going to die in it. Mm. There was a high-pitched sound coming from the, my camera, and I had to bring it into Adobe. I had to bring it into Adobe Audition and like choose the sound, the high pitch. There was like four different bands of that sound, and so I had to isolate it and then get it out. That's interesting, huh? Editing. Fascinating, Gary. It's just fascinating. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So this is my studio. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Huh? I have strategic lights. Oh, the light just fell down. I should have just left it alone. And I kind of boxed myself in with desks and everything. There. Didn't break anything. Could have it like that, but then it would be too bright. And if I shut it off, it's too dark. Right? Oh well. Oh well. I gotta go cut some more wood pretty soon. It's rainy and cold. These cats are doing something downstairs. Still got a lot of grinding. I gotta get some egg. You can't make egg temper without egg. This isn't doing art though. I had this dream because like part of it is like the way I do art. Um, part I'll explain. Okay. The importance of dreams. Man uses the spoken or written word to express the meaning of what he wants to convey. His language is full of symbols, but he also often employs signs or images that are not strictly descriptive. Some are mere abbreviations or strings of initials, such as UN, UNICEF, or UNESCO. Others are familiar trademarks, the names of patent medicines, badges, or insignia. Although these are meaningless in themselves, they have acquired a recognizable meaning through common usage or deliberate intent. Such things are not symbols, they are signs, and they do no more than denote the objects to which they are attached. Uh, what we call a symbol is a term, a name, or even a picture that may be familiar in daily life, yet that possesses specific connotations in addition to its conventional and obvious meaning. It implies something vague, unknown, or hidden from us. Many Cretan monuments, for instance, are marked with the design of the double ads. I don't know what that is. A double ads? Double ads. Okay. Um, if I do this. Uh, no, I'll leave it like that. Oops. I gotta resize this. What I'm trying to do is show you what a double ad set is, because I don't know what it is. I haven't a clue. But in order to do that, I need to get online and I have to share my screen. If I do this, double ads, Cretan. A Cretan double atza, known as a labrys, was a ceremonial and religious symbol of the ancient Minoan civilization. It was strongly associated with female divinities, particularly the mother goddess, and likely symbolized power, authority, and creation, as well as being connected to the labyrinth. While it may have also served as a practical tool for hewing wood, its sacred and symbolic function is the most prominent aspect. Interesting. Where was I? Many Cretan monuments, for instance, are marked with the design of the double atza. This is an object that we know, but we do not know its symbolic implications. I just read its symbolic implications. For another example, take the case of the Indian who, after a visit to England, told his friends at home that the English worship animals because he had found eagles, lions, and the oxen in old churches. He was not aware, nor are many Christians, that these animals are symbols of the evangelists and are derived from the vision of Ezekiel, and that this in turn has an analogy to the Egyptian sun god Horus and his four sons. There are, moreover, such objects as the wheel and the cross that are known all over the world, yet that have a symbolic significance under certain conditions. Precisely what they symbolize is still a matter of controversial speculation. Thus, a word or an image is symbolic when it applies something more than its obvious and immediate meaning. It has a wider, unconscious aspect that is never precisely defined or fully explained. Nor can one hope to define or explain it. As the mind explores, let's see, did I do that right? Do you think? No, I didn't do it right. I did not. I forgot to do this. Nor can one hope to define or explain it. As the mind explores the symbol, it is led to ideas that lie beyond the grasp of reason. Um, the wheel may lead our thoughts toward the concept of a divine sun, but at this point, reason must admit its incompetence. Man is unable to define a divine being. When, with all our intellectual limitations, we call something divine, we have merely given it a name, which may be based on a creed, but never a factual evidence. Because there are innumerable things beyond the range of human understanding, we constantly use some symbolic terms to represent concepts that we cannot define or fully comprehend. This is one reason why all religions employ symbolic language or images. But this conscious use of symbols is the only one aspect of the psychological fact of great importance. Man also produces symbols unconsciously and spontaneously in the form of dreams. It's not easy to grasp this point, but the point must be grasped if we are to know more about the ways in which human mind works. Man, as we realize, I had a dream, okay? I'm gonna tell you my dream. I It's kind of haunting me. So I'm forgetting a lot of the details about the dream. I was with a friend, and we were going somewhere, doing something. I don't remember what, but my arm, I got wounded or something, and then right here in the bend of your arm, I was holding it like this, and then God, I wish I could remember more details about the dream. When I opened it, a bunch of blood was pooling in that area, and I'm like, "Oh, oh, I shouldn't do that. I should leave it like this." I'm wondering what that meant. If it's a symbol, and I dreamt this like 3 or 4 days ago, and that detail is the one thing that I remember the most. I'm bleeding from my left arm, and it's like a pool of blood. So that is a blood. Okay, what's the symbolic meaning of blood? Life energy, life energy, right? The very essence, or like our gasoline, our everything that we need. Passion. It's red, and it wasn't squirting. It was like pooling. So how did I feel? The emotion I felt was alarmed. I didn't realize I was bleeding that much, and I thought I was in trouble. Uh-oh. So the loss of energy, the loss of life, the loss of I wonder what that is. So why am I saying this? Why is that like art? Well, why is this part of art? And a lot of the paintings I do, it's not just a decorative thing. I'm trying to I'm trying to have a conversation with another human being, but on a subconscious level. So I like to put symbology in the paintings, or if I'm doing this, like there are things that I'm doing, like because like see this line going down, and I purposely made this alignment, and also I'm using my logo, which is a circle and the letter G and the S in the middle. Symbology. I like symbology. I like that whole. I like And even the fact of telling you my dreams, that's another symbol of something, like a confession. So it's all, I like these little subtle things. I find them fascinating. Grinding. I'm grinding, that's a symbol of something working. Anyway, where was I? Uh, Man also produces symbols unconsciously and spontaneously in the form of dreams. It's not easy to grasp this point, but the point must be grasped if we are to know more about the ways in which the human mind works. Man, as we realize, if we reflect for a moment, never perceives anything fully or comprehends anything completely. He can see, hear, touch, and taste, but how far he sees, how well he hears, what his touch tells him, and what he tastes depends upon the number of quality of his senses. This limit this limit his perception of the world around him. By using scientific instruments, he can partly compensate for the deficiencies of his senses. For example, he can extend the range of his vision by binoculars or of his hearing by electrical amplification, but the most elaborate apparatus cannot do more than bring distant or small objects within range of his eyes or make faint sounds more audible. No matter what instrument he uses, at some point he reaches the edge of certainty beyond which conscious knowledge cannot pass. So at some point, we can't use our rationality to say anything. Like a painting, we're limited to what we can see and what it means. But I do believe that we have to have some sort. We have to use our instinct or our intuition and let it stay with it stay with that uncertainty for a little while and maybe we'll, like, I don't know what that dream, what my subconscious is telling me. I'm losing energy by it was doing this. I'm keeping the energy. Doing this, I'm losing the energy. You know, I'm safe, unsafe. So when you're balled up, you're safe, but when you're opened up, you're vulnerable, which is true. Okay. Uh, no matter what instrument he uses, at some point he reaches the edge of certainty beyond which conscious knowledge cannot pass. There are, moreover, unconscious aspects of our perception of reality. The first is the fact that even when our senses react to real phenomena, sights and sounds, they are somehow translated from the realm of reality into the mind, into that of the mind. Within the mind, they become psychic events whose ultimate nature is unknowable. For the psyche cannot know its own physical substance. Thus, every experience contains an indefinite number of unknown factors. Not to speak of the fact that every concrete object is always unknown in certain respects because we cannot know the ultimate nature of matter itself. Then there are, I don't know what that means. What? We don't know the nature of matter itself. What does that mean? Maybe that's the thing that we're trying to figure out with science and everything, right? Making the Hadron Collider, and they're looking for that God particle, the Higgs boson, right? Trying to find out what matter is all about, maybe. Then there are certain events of which we have not consciously taken note. They have remained, so to speak, below the threshold of consciousness. They have happened, but they have been absorbed subliminally. Without our conscious knowledge, We can become aware of such happenings only in a moment of intuition or by a process of profound thought that leads to a later realization that they must have happened. And though we may have originally ignored their emotional and vital importance, it later wells up from the unconscious as a sort of afterthought. It may appear, for instance, in the form of a dream. As a general rule, the unconscious aspect of any event is revealed to us in some in dreams, where it appears not as rational thought but as some symbolic image. As a matter of history, it was the study of dreams that first enabled psychologists to investigate the unconscious aspect of conscious psychic events. That is so true. Okay, if I'm going to be doing indigenous art, I think I think to be authentically indigenous, and it's not just in authentically indigenous, it's also just maybe in art in general, is is listening to your dreams and translating them, staying with them. I mean, there's a whole language there, right? I mean, it's not just surreal art, although the surrealism is an art in and of itself, and it's a different category. But I think all of it, because like it takes a long time to paint a painting, and when you're in that moment of creating an idea, first of all, the imagery, I can't draw or paint anything if I don't see it in my mind first. So these images are coming from a, a different place in my psyche, unless of course I'm doing a plein air. um but even then, like let's say I'm painting a landscape, which I very seldom do, but I should probably do it. And you have another artist right next to me and they're painting the same thing. What we're going to be painting is not just like technique that'll be different, it'll be our perceptions will be different of what we see, which is because we're not a camera, right? I mean, if I were to take a picture and just a simple point, click, shoot, and we take a picture of the same event, even then it's a little bit different because we'll be focusing on different things, and I don't know. Anyways, we're our perceptions are different, and I think that our perceptions, and it happens so fast, what we choose to see and what we retain in our memory, and it happens so quickly that we don't realize that a lot of it is just is driven by our subconscious, which is, I believe, something that um the powers that be manipulate. Like, let's look at the state of the world today, and the divisions that, like, we're constantly on our phones, right? And we're being bombarded by messages, and that it's like psychic driving almost, where you're being told something over and over and over again, and it's that repetition that eventually our subconscious starts believing that it's true because it's been repeated for so long. And then it spews back. We project it back into the world and into our judgments and into our hatred. And I think that the powers that be understand how the psyche works. I mean, look, this guy's writing about it, right? They know what they're doing. And when we're talking about religion and spirituality, the power of symbol, the power of imagery, and the power of art is undeniable. It's more than a decorative piece. It's speaks to you through subconscious, which is what I'm learning, which is why I'm reading this, because I want to know more about it. It may appear, for instance, in the form of a dream. As a general rule, the unconscious aspect of any event is revealed to us in dreams, where it appears not as rational thought, but as a symbolic image. As a matter of history, it was the study of dreams that first enabled psychologists to investigate the unconscious aspect of the conscious psychic events. It is on such evidence that psychologists assume the existence of an unconscious psyche. Though many scientists and philosophers deny its existence, they argue naively that such an assumption implies the existence of two subjects, or, to put in a common phrase, two personalities within the same individual. But that is exactly what it does imply, quite correctly. It is one of the curses of modern man that many people suffer from, this divided personality. It is by no means a pathological symptom. It is a normal fact that can be observed at any time and everywhere. It is not merely the neurotic whose right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. This predicament is a symptom of a general unconsciousness that is the undeniable common inheritance of all mankind. Man has developed consciousness slowly and laboriously in a process that took untold ages to reach the civilized state, which is arbitrarily dated from the invention of the script in about 4000 BC. And this evolution is far more complete, for large areas of the human mind are still shrouded in darkness. What we call the psyche is by no means identical with our consciousness and its contents. Whoever denies the existence of the unconscious is in fact assuming that our present knowledge of the psyche is total. And this belief is clearly just as false as the assumption that we know all there is to know about the natural universe. Our psyche is part of nature, and its enigma is as limitless. Thus, we cannot define either the psyche or nature. We can merely state what we believe them to be and describe as best we can how they function. Quite apart, therefore, from the evidence that the medical research has accumulated, there are strong grounds of logic for rejecting statements like, there is no unconscious. Those who say such things merely express an age old misonoism, a fear of the new and the unknown. A fear of the unknown. Yeah, nobody suffers from that. There are historical reasons for this resistance to the idea of an unknown part of the human psyche. Consciousness is very recent acquisition of nature, and it's still in its experimental state. It is frail, menaced by specific dangers, and easily injured. As anthropologists have noted, one of the most common mental derangements that occur among primitive people is what they call the loss of a soul, which means, as the name indicates, a noticeable disruption, or more technically, a disassociation of consciousness. Among such people whose consciousness is a different level, what does that mean? The loss of soul or a disassociation? Does it mean like DID or something? Consciousness is a very recent acquisition. What does that mean? Uh, what's it called? Man and his symbols. Man and his symbols. When he says primitive people, um, won't call The loss of the soul. Whoops. In Man and His Symbols, when Carl Jung refers. Hold on. In Man and His Symbol, when Carl Jung refers to primitive people's loss of the soul, he is describing a psychological state of profound disconnection and alienation. It is not a literal loss, but a loss of connection to oneself, one's community, and the spiritual world, resulting in a feeling of being out of himself and no longer a complete human being. This state can be caused by the inability to participate in rituals, the loss of identity, and a broken connection to nature and tradition. The loss of identity and belonging. The individual is unable to connect with the traditions, rituals, and family that give them their sense of place and identity. They are alienated from their society and feel not there. Disconnection from the spiritual world. The person loses their connection to the powers of and gods of their people, making it impossible to pray, sacrifice, or participate in the community's spiritual life. The inability to find meaning. The personal myth and larger cultural myth that provides a sense of purpose or raison d'etre is gone. A state of being not there. The individual is not seen as a true human until the soul is regained. Modern parallel. Jung uses anthropological evidence to illustrate a similar psychological condition that can occur today, where people feel a similar sense of loneliness and disconnection from their own lives and the world around them. Holy cow. That is very apt, right? Jesus. This is an important book. As anthropologists have noted, one of the most common mental derangement that occur among primitive people is what they call the loss of a soul, which means as the name indicates, a notable disruption, or more technically, a dissociation of consciousness. Among such people whose consciousness is at a different level or development from ours, the soul or psyche is not felt to be a unit. Many primitives assume that a man has a bush soul as well as his own, and that bush soul is an incarnate in a wild animal or a tree with which the human individual has some kind of psychic identity. This is what the distinguished French ethnologist Lucien Lévy-Bruhl called a mystical participation. He later retracted this term under pressure of adverse criticism, but I believe that his critics were wrong. It is a well-known psychological fact that an individual may have such an unconscious identity with some other person or object. This identity takes a variety of forms among primitives. I really reject the word primitives, by the way. If the bush soul is that of an animal, the animal itself is considered as some sort of brother to the man. A man whose brother is a crocodile, for instance, is supposed to be safe when swimming a crocodile-infested river. I wonder if that's anything like um a clan. It sounds like it's clan. If the bush soul is a tree, the tree is presumed to have something like parental authority over the individual concerned. In both cases, an injury to the bush soul is interpreted as an injury to the man. In some tribes, it is assumed that a man has a number of souls. This belief expresses the feeling of some primitive individuals that they each consist of several linked but distinct units. This means that the individual's psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under the onslaught of unchecked emotions. What does that mean? In some tribes, it is assumed that a man has a number of souls. This belief expresses the feeling of some primitive individuals that they each consist of several linked but distinct units. What does that mean? I gotta know. Uh, what does in some tribes it is assumed that a man uh has a number of oh come on number of souls. No, this belief expresses the feeling of some primitive individuals that they whoa that they uh, mm, um, mm, mm, each consist of several linked but distinct unit. I didn't spell that right. Units in man and his symbols by Carl Young. Yeah, what does that mean? Oh, come on. What happened? It's too complicated. Oh, no. It won't do it. All right. Okay. We got to do this the old fashioned way. In some tribes, it's assumed that a man has a number of souls. All right. So you can get guardian animals. You can get a spirit name. They follow you around, they help you, right? This belief expresses the feeling of some primitive individuals that they each consist of several linked but distinct units. So they're linked but distinct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you have an eagle guardian and a skunk guardian, then you have a spirit name. You know, all interconnected, all my relations and everything. Sure, I can see that. This means that the individual psyche is far from being safely synthesized. This means the individual psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under the onslaught of unchecked emotions. What the hell does that mean? We're supposed to like bring all those things together. I'm all done. I can now make coffee. Ah, I'm gonna stop the stream right now and make coffee. Bye. I'll do this.